Touchdown, Florida State. Hey, Seminole fans, it's time for another edition of the Osceola Podcast. Touchdown, Florida State. Hey, Seminole fans, it's time for another edition of the Osceola Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Osceola Podcast. My name is Pat Burnham. I'm a writer for the Osceola, and I'm joined today by the owner and publisher of the Osceola, Jerry Kutz, and our guest football expert, Mark Salva, who played football at FSU from 1984 to 1987 as an offensive lineman and coached at South Carolina from 1994 to 1998. And we're going to talk about the Louisville FSU game from Saturday night. And guys, welcome to the show.
Always a pleasure.
Good to be here, Pat.
Well, we had a nice little Saturday afternoon in Tallahassee, and FSU took a 21-7 lead into halftime. Louisville came back in the third quarter and made it a 24-21 game before FSU closed it out with a 14-point fourth quarter comeback led by Alex Hornibrook, who replaced an injured James Blackman. Mark and Jerry, just want to get your general thoughts on the overview of the game itself, the entire game.
Well, for me, I thought saw a lot of improvement in a lot of areas. And, I talked last week about being able to string together more moments of high-level play, complementary football, defense going 3-and-out, offense executing the offense at a high level and scoring points. Last week we did it once or twice, and, I was kind of encouraged by it, and then it just kind of went away. I thought this week we extended those periods longer where we were more efficient. Again, the middle of the game, we seem to break down, and that's kind of worrisome. What's the cause of that? I have some ideas, but we can get into that later. But I thought, there were longer stretches in the game where we were more efficient. I thought that the changes that were made on defense absolutely fit and looked a lot better, I thought.
Jerry, what are your thoughts on the fourth quarter comeback?
Well, I agree with Mark right there. And there were times earlier in the game where I thought balls were put in the air where Louisville makes a big play. Wasn't a busted coverage. It wasn't a bad scheme. We had a defensive back that was in position to maybe make the play, and the Louisville player made the play and not us. Well, in that, like Mark said, in that fourth quarter, players have to make plays. And when they do, I think it sparks everybody. And like Mark said, that to me, and I'll just advance on Mark rather than repeat on what he said. When we got the ball back again, and we were able to go down there and kick the field goal for the tie, and the guy roughed Aguayo, and then we were able to punch it in. That series told me something. We didn't have stupid penalties. We didn't turn the ball over. We actually were pretty efficient with to make it a 2-score game, and that to me it was something we haven't done this year.
All right. Well, guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about the play of Alex Hornibrook and his role in leading FSU back to a comeback victory. Just your thoughts, Mark, on how he performed, and was his experience at Wisconsin valuable to FSU in overcoming some adversity in the third quarter and bringing him back to victory in the fourth?
Yeah, so, I try to take some notes as I'm watching the game, just if I have a thought or two. And, my first note watching him for an extent, I think by his second series, I thought to myself, it's evident this guy has extensive experience in big games. And there was just a way about him. And I won't say calming, but it's just not as frantic. He's a little more measured. He's a little more in control, it seems.
All right.
So let me make a simple point here on that point. And not to, I'm going to make this complimentary of Hornibrook versus disparaging of Blackman. But in the Virginia game, there's 2 3-foot putts that if James makes them, the outcome could be different. And of course, the classic example is he got James wide open against Virginia and overthrew him. And Hornibrook just set his feet and made a real nice soft throw.
Right.
And different outcome.
Yeah.
With Terry. Yeah. Both same play, same situation. And one guy puts it on the guy, the other guy didn't.
Right.
I think that's experience.
Absolutely. And it's a performance-based business.
Your overall assessment of the defense after holding Louisville to 124 yards. And remember, this is a Louisville team that gained 250 against Notre Dame.
So let me start. I sit in the Champions Club up high and sit by myself, and I'm looking at that first quarter, and it looked to me like our fits were really good. I like to watch linebackers, and it just seemed to me that our linebacker play this game was much improved. And I have to wonder how much of that is the effect that Jim Leavitt maybe has helped a little bit in the film run because, of course, he's a linebacker coach at heart. And but we really looked good there. And the second thing I thought was that we got a lot of helmets around the football for a change. And I think as the game wore on, we got out of that. I felt like 91 and 21 and 16 in the second quarter were probably gassed and weren't pursuing the ball quite as hard as they had pursued it earlier in the game. But those were the two things I thought were much improved. Our fits seemed better, and we got a lot more people around the ball.
I agree with that, Mark.
Yeah, you contrast this game plan and this performance compared to Virginia. It was night and day. Last week I was talking about, we're in base defense against, 11 personnel, which is one tight end, one back, 3 wideouts. And, you got Leonard Warner out there out in the curl flat area and the wide side of the field trying to play in space, and how that didn't make sense to me. Why don't, first and 10 maybe, but, now you're getting second and long, third and long. And, so this game, first time, we're in, a nickel situation. We run a sub package out there, and we got 5 or 6 DBs in the game, and we got, linebackers, and we're blitzing, and we're playing press, and we're backing out. I saw us disguise pressure and back out. I saw us not show pressure and press. I saw us doing a lot more slant and angling with the fronts. Before we were just mainly just playing base and alignments, and unless it was some kind of pass rush situation. But on running downs, I saw us slant and angling a little bit, which is really neat. I thought 35 inside was much more natural, and I thought 6 outside was a lot more natural. I saw some young players flash. I really like Amari Gaynor. I think that guy's athletic. I think he's long. He's a long athletic athlete who plays well in space and can play inside, outside. I really like him. I thought 42. I believe that's the kid from IMG, right? McCray.
Gillo McCray. Yeah, I thought he had a heck of. I think he's going to be really, really good.
We hope you've enjoyed the first segment of this podcast. To hear the entire episode, as well as past and future podcasts and daily coverage of Seminole sports, please subscribe to the Osceola at theosceola.com. Sign up today and enjoy a free 1-week trial subscription. Try us. You can rely on us.